Shocked. That's the reaction from Jimmy Kimmel and his staff after they got the news their show was suspended indefinitely.
Shocked. That's how Jimmy Kimmel and his team felt when they heard that their show would be shut down for good. Jimmy Kimmel's whole world just fell apart. There was a quick end to his show in September 2025, after 22 years of making people laugh every night. This wasn't just any debate, though. After one speech went too far, ABC fired him. 28 stations wouldn't play his music. The FCC said they would go to court. On social media, even Donald Trump was happy about his fall. Jimmy Kimmel is not a very good guy. They should have fired him a long time ago because he had terrible reviews. Everyone was shocked by what Kimmel said that night. This is not how an adult deals with the death of a friend. This is how a 4-year-old boy grieves for a pet that died. But his job isn't the only thing that breaks her heart. There are secret fights he's been having behind the scenes that no one saw coming. Kimmel was born in Brooklyn, New York, on November 13, 1967. John James Kimmel was his full name. He was the middle child of 3. Joan, his mother, was a housewife with Italian roots. They came to the United States after a big earthquake hit Ischia, Naples in 1883. The man Jimmy's dad is named James. John Kimmel worked at IBM. Their old last name was Kimmel, which in German means crowway. He would go on to become famous for making late-night TV more interesting, which is kind of funny. He grew up in Brooklyn's Millbus, a Catholic area for working-class people. The family of 5 lived in a small room that was always crowded. Jimmy took care of Jonathan and Jill like a big brother would. To get some respect, that small apartment taught him how to stand up for himself, be funny, and keep people busy. Jimmy wore white every Sunday and was an altar boy at church. He did all the routines and learned how to be disciplined and on time. He was good at making things happen, though. He once said that he would joke around even when he was confessing. The monks had no idea that the boy in front of them would become a funny man who is known all over the country. When Jimmy was 9 years old, in 1976, everything changed. Because his dad was moving from IBM to American Express, the family had to leave Brooklyn and move to Las Vegas. It was a huge surprise. The area Jimmy used to live in was quiet and full of churches. The city he now lives in is crazy, with casinos, performers, and flashing lights. In his hair, he remembered seeing Liberace buy meat at the shop. He saw Sammy Davis Jr. shopping in a store one time. Jimmy got a sneak peek into show business during these strange events, long before he did anything in it. He went from Las Vegas's Ed W. Clark High School in 1985. He got good grades even though he didn't work hard. He loved drawing and was the class clown. The arts were his best subject, and he was very good at them. They built a shrine to remember him because the school was so proud of him. After many years, Jimmy thanked them by giving them $54,000. He really liked David Letterman's late-night show back then. He couldn't stay up late because he didn't have a VCR, so he would sneak around the area and watch recorded episodes at his friends' houses. Those nights changed him. They made him dream. He went to the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Right after high school, he joined the college radio station KUNV in 1985. Being in charge of a talk show on Sunday nights was his first time speaking in front of a crowd. He had a GPA of 2 and didn't do well in school, 36. After many years, he joked that the fact that students could drink on campus might be why he didn't remember much about school. He was only at UNLV for about a year. He told a large crowd that he worked harder on that speech than on any coursework at UNLV in 2013. That was when the university gave him an honors doctorate. He had a good time at the radio station, but he was fired for going too far. Back then, Ken Jordan was in charge of the show and had to fire him. Jimmy got in trouble for being too brave for the first time, but that moment also made him want to go even farther. Once Jimmy moved to Arizona State University in 1986, he began calling a nearby radio station, KZZP-FM, to play jokes. The hosts, Mike Elliott and Kent Voss, loved them so much that Jimmy became a regular guest. He was funny, had good timing, and had a great voice. He wasn't just a guy making jokes for fun. He had something unique that got him his first real job at KFM in Seattle in 1989. He was one of the hosts of the Morning Drive show with Kent Voss. The show was called Me and Him. But quickly things went wrong. They played a joke on the Seattle Mariners baseball team. People thought it was funny, but it cost the station $8,000 in ad revenue. In 1990, they were both fired after only 10 months on the job. Then they were hired again, this time at WRBQ-FM in Tampa, Florida. This job didn't last either, though. After the fact, Jimmy said they were fired again in 1991 for general misbehavior. Jim once said that Tampa was the worst place he had ever lived because of how bad that year was there. Someone stole his car, someone broke into his room, and the radio show wasn't going well. He tried comedy acts and roles, but nothing seemed to work. He was at a very bad point in his life. He then moved to Palm Springs and got a job at KCMJ. No one really knew why he called himself Chris Kimmel this time. At last, a job that felt safe. He was never fired by his boss, Scott Keener, and Jimmy often joked that Keener was the only GM who never did that. In Palm Springs, he started working with a young intern named Carson Daly, who was related to him. Jim called him Fred on the radio and made him do silly things like wear a cowboy hat and shorts and stand on street corners. On top of that, he hired his Jewish secretary from Brooklyn to be the weather girl. People loved her thick Yiddish accent. Jimmy was able to be himself in Palm Springs. His big break came at Crofm in Los Angeles in 1994. He became Jimmy the sports guy on the Kevin and Bean show. His wit was sharp, and he made fun of sports in a way that no one else did. It was there that he met Adam Carolla. They hit it off right away. An episode of the show had Jimmy and another cast member fight, and Adam was the teacher. That little thing grew into something much bigger. For 5 years, he worked there. It helped his business, but it also got him into a lot of trouble later on. There was a Snoop Dogg parody on a Funny Christmas record that he was on. He used the N-word a few times in the song and made a joke about Santa Claus being a big jerk in a sleigh, which was a shade. That song wasn't heard for years until it came back in June 2020, during a time when there were big protests across the country against racism. People were shocked. In a 2013 podcast with Adam Carolla, Kimmel even said he had done things like this a lot of times, like trying to be black celebrities. This was a problem because in 2018, Kimmel attacked Donald Trump in public and told actor Tom Arnold to put out a tape of Trump allegedly using the same slur. Some people said Kimmel was a liar. He went to TV in 1997 and joined Win Ben Stein's Money, a game show on Comedy Central. He didn't even want the job at first, but people liked how different he was from Ben Stein once he started. Kimmel was quick and funny, while Stein was slow and serious. Their differences made the show well liked. They both won a Daytime Emmy in 1999 for being the best game show hosts. Kimmel worked on the show until 2000, when he quit to work full-time on The Man Show. The show went on with new co-hosts like Nancy Pimentel and later Kimmel's cousin Sal Yako after he left. The show won 6 Daytime Emmys during its run, and it helped Jimmy Kimmel get ahead in TV. Also in 1999, Kimmel started a company called Jack Hole Industries to make movies. It began with Daniel Kellison and Adam Carolla. The name came from putting together their old nicknames. Jack House was owned by Carolla and Kellison, and Cash Hole was owned by Kimmel. A cartoon donkey in a hat was their mascot. The Man Show was their first big hit. They pitched it to Comedy Central as the exact opposite of Oprah. It was wild and full of over-the-top stuff like beer drinking, toilet jokes, and women jumping on trampolines. People who are against sexism said the show was made for young guys and women should not watch it. It did work, though. People really liked the show. After that, Jack Hole Productions made more shows, such as The Andy Milonakis Show, Crank Yankers, and Sports Show with Norm Macdonald. In early 2020, Kimmel moved over to his new company Kimmelot to run Jimmy Kimmel Live. Jack Hole kept going strong until then. But from 1999 to 2003, When Kimmel was on The Man Show, he did something that people would never forget. He put on a full black face to play Karl Malone, an NBA star. He did it more than once. It was drawn all the time. There was dark makeup all over his body, a basketball shirt on, and he talked with a fake voice and slang that was way too strong. He made the figure say silly things about being president, aliens, and Beanie Babies. Kimmel showed up as Karl Malone in blackface while dressed as Santa in one holiday show. He even got Oprah Winfrey to sound like her in the same way. Most of these sketches were forgotten until 2020, when clips of them started being shared online during national riots. Kimmel said sorry on June 24, 2020. It was pointed out that he was still laughing as Malone, even though he didn't wear any makeup. He said the videos were embarrassing and that he had grown up and changed. Even as late as 2018, he talked to the real Karl Malone in real time. Kimmel had another big hit with Crank Yankers in 2002. The thought was very different. Real prank calls were used on the show, but dolls played the parts of the people who got called. Kimmel did the voices of Elmer Higgins, The Nudge, and Karl Malone over and over ag.